Great to have everyone back. And on that note, I know you guys are down in Tampa. A lot of you were. So congratulations to Coach Staley and the awesome season that they had. Obviously, I know it was a disappointing finish, but what a year, and accomplished so much. I'm so excited for the future, and exciting seeing all the Gamecocks down in Tampa the other day as well, being down there for the championship game for sure. Just got off the practice field. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. Just finished practice 9, I guess, and love the way we worked today. Challenged our guys this morning. Had our first scrimmage of the year on Saturday. So human nature, you have a scrimmage, had a couple days off or Sunday off, and then you come back in here and just kind of take a breath and coast and don't get better today. And that was the opposite of what our guys showed. Thought we had a great day out there today, very spirited, very intense, very energetic for sure. Got a lot of situational work in today, introduced 2-minute offense as well. And we know what that wins and loses games. You can look back at our game last year against Alabama, 2-minute situations before the half and in the fourth quarter on offense and defense. You look at Missouri, we scored in a 2-minute drill before the half, and then obviously we had a 2-minute drill to win the game as well. So, and then games that we lost where we gave up points before the half on defense, LSU and Ole Miss, and understanding that in this league, every game's close, and it's a small margin for error, and those 2-minute opportunities can be the difference in winning and losing. So got some great situational work today as well. I'll be back out on the field on Thursday, back in the stadium Saturday for another scrimmage, and then finish up next week as well. But really like the way we're working, like this group, getting a lot of young guys, a lot of work. And it's been fun coaching this group and seeing us just continue to get better through the first, 2/3, I guess, of spring ball. So excited about the remainder of it as we go forward. No new injury updates from last week. Everything's still the same. We've been fairly fortunate. Got some guys that are banged up a little bit with just normal bumps and bruises, but no one new, knock on wood, from a long-term standpoint, without a doubt. Have our Ladies' Day coming up this upcoming Saturday. Still have spots remaining. That's always a fun day. And for all the ladies that are Gamecock fans, young and old, so come on out. We'd love to have you. It's our coaches look forward to it, players look forward to it, and a fun day this upcoming Saturday. So hope to see so many out here for that. There's a ton of energy. I've always gotten yelled at by the ladies because the last couple of years we've done it the weekend of the Women's Final Four. So we did not do it this year, the weekend of the Women's Final Four. So I would expect all those ladies that give me stuff about poor timing and don't do it when the women are in the Final Four, I didn't this year. So I would hope our numbers are sky high this year as well. And then real quick, let me just get on the little soapbox real quick. I understand, got great respect for all of you and know that you have a job to do, and I try and give you all the access that we possibly can with also understanding that there's a competitive aspect of it as well. Our practices are closed, for a reason, but also understand that you have a job to do to report things. But it is frustrating for me as the head coach when last Tuesday or Thursday, a lot of you weren't here because you were with the basketball team already, but we had media availability, and I actually added, I think, 20 or 30 minutes to it to try and give you guys even more access. During that time, we didn't do any 11-on-11 work, meaning the offense versus the defense, not even any full offensive work where you would see, here's the group that's out there with the offensive line. So it was very disappointing when an article comes out that says, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, and third team offensive line. I mean, that's horse crap, guys. We don't have a first team, second team, third team right now. We don't. It's freaking April. So for a reporter to come out there and say, here's the third team offensive guard, I mean, what are we doing? So if you come out there and it's 11-on-11 and you watch the offense, 11 people versus the defense, 11 people, and there's Lenore Sellers, yeah, that's probably our first group if there was such a thing. We didn't do any of that. It's drill work, meaning the offensive line are over there with Lonnie Teasley and Greg Atkins, and they're going through drills, and they're trying to get better fundamentally. And there might be a guy that might be out there with what you think is the first group because you see Josiah Thompson, and he might just be that's part of his station in that drill. It's drill work. And again, this isn't Shane sitting up here telling you what to report, but how you sit there and break down, here's the first team, second team, third team, and put that in writing in a drill. Not even against an opponent. Not even the tight ends lined up next to the offensive lineman. Not even a running back behind the offensive lineman. A drill, which I don't even know what they're doing in the drill. But they sure as heck aren't doing, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, third team offensive line, because I wish I knew that, who it was. So it's disappointing and frustrating for me when we're talking to our players. I've not used the word all spring, first group, second group, third group with our players. We got an A group, B group, C group, and guys that might be redshirting this year are getting work with the A group. Guys that might be a starter for us are getting work with the B group. We just rotate it through that way. So then an article comes out that here's the third team offensive guard when I'm sitting here telling the players we don't even have that because we don't. So if you got a question about something, just ask me before we report. Here's the third team left tackle as well. So again, try and give you guys access and try and make y'all's jobs easy, but also just make sure we're smart with what we're reporting as well. Plus, I love all the insider reports from our scrimmage last weekend about Jaden Sellers. He didn't even scrimmage. I mean, somebody's going to ask me about Jaden Sellers today and how great a scrimmage he had. He was sick. He didn't scrimmage. So I know there's a lot of information out there, and everybody could say, well, Shane, just open up every practice, and we don't have to get bad information and things like that. Well, I don't. Until every other school in America opens up spring practices, and we're all out there reporting what everybody's doing, great, I'll do it then. But right now, we have a lot. We have a new offensive coordinator. We're doing some new things offensively. We're doing some new things defensively. We're doing some new things special teams-wise. So I don't want the whole world to see everything that we're doing right now as well. And again, if you come out there to practice and your job, I'm not telling you what to report and what not to report, but be smart about reporting. Here's the first team, second team, and third team based on what you saw of 17 offensive linemen doing a drill by themselves with Lonnie Teasley. So that's my soapbox today. What do we got, David? Welcome back. How was Tampa?
It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. I was burned up. A little warm in here right now. Let's go.
Shane, again, it's just scrimmage, spring work, all that kind of stuff. But with Mike installing a new or tweaked or his version of the offense, is there a percentage on what you think is in right now? So we got this down and we got the rest over the summer and fall?
Yeah, I'd say, I don't want to say the bulk of it. Mike may disagree. I think what we've done, David, or know what we've done is really just base concepts that we know that we're going to do and just really trying to get those installed and learned, and then you can kind of build off that, where here's our base concept, and now we're going to do it out of a different personnel grouping or different formation, without a doubt. That also is trying to figure out what we can do, because we don't have a depth chart, David. So we've got a lot of receivers that are competing to be in that rotation, and we're trying to figure out who fits where, and whether it's inside, outside. But from a conceptual playbook standpoint, if you will, there's quite a bit in, don't get me wrong, and there's not a ton that we would say, here's stuff that's still coming, but we threw a lot at them early on, and I would say the bulk of it is in. And that was kind of us last year too. I mean, we didn't do a ton schematically, volume-wise, too much. We had our base concepts, and we just kind of dressed them up week to week, and let's figure out what we're good at, run game and pass game as well.
Shane, with all the young receivers, who's kind of stood out so far, and just what do you expect? I mean, obviously, with such a big class of freshman receivers, what do they need to do to kind of separate themselves, and what have you seen from them so far?
Yeah, they've come along. They in that scrimmage, speaking of young guys, Malik Clark really had a good day on Saturday. Brian Rowe did some good things on Saturday. Those are two guys that continue to just, really come along. All those guys, Lex, Jaden, Jordan. I think right now the thing for them is just learning the details, lined up, stances, alignments. You're split on this play, meaning how far you are from the offensive tackles, a little bit different, play to play, scheme to scheme. So just learning those details like that. And that's what we've talked to them a lot about is a lot of what we're putting in offensively is in, where early on it was trying to learn what they're to do, like what my job is on that play. Let's really focus now on the whole concept and what the other 10 people are doing around me, or if I'm a receiver, not what the offensive guard's doing necessarily, but the whole concept of the play. So that's where they need to work to improve. But I feel like they've, in the first, 9 practices, they've really come along, and I think they've all flashed at certain times. Jaden has done some really good things. Lex has done some really good things. Brian Rowe has done some really good things. Malik has done some good things. Jordan, and then Donovan Murph's been out there as much as he can as well, watching us also. So I like that group, along with the returners, Jerry Brown and Mazio and Nick. It's a fun group, and there's a lot of competition in there right now.
With Jalen being down for the rest of spring and Wendell going to the portal, is there anybody on the roster that y'all have tried to look at defensive end to help with the numbers there? Or do you feel like you're kind of in a good spot at this point?
I wouldn't say we're in a good spot. As far as anybody on the roster, no. That we've talked about at this point of potentially doing that. We need to get our defensive tackle position solidified, who those guys are going to be, and then we need to get that edge position solidified. And we've got some young guys right now that are going through spring practice that we have high expectations for, but I don't feel great about the position right now. Not the talent in the room, but just the depth in the room. We were already a little bit thin to begin with, before spring practice, and then we lose Jalen. Wendell decides to transfer. Now a already thin group is even thinner with two guys down or gone for now. One gone, one not gone, but you know what I mean. So we need to continue to solidify the depth in there for sure. And, there's different avenues to do that. But as far as anybody on our team right now, no. Got to give Mike one in the Masters hat. Come on now. Is that you too, Jack? I love it. Y'all are in the right frame of mind.
Got to bring it out this week. As you guys look to replace, a veteran center from last season, I know Stanley's one of those guys in there. I know other players are getting reps in there as well. What's that dynamic like in terms of, looking for someone, but at the same time, too, also trying to figure out with Sellers and trying to get his development? Do you put more on his plate this year because he knows the offense a little bit more, or, do you try to ease those guys in?
Yeah, a little of both. Certainly, we're worried about Lenoris and him taking the next step from a physical standpoint and mental standpoint, no question about it. But also, we're going to have a new center, and we're going to have a new backup center, most likely, and chance we may have a brand new third-team center whenever that depth chart is solidified, which right now it's not. And those guys, I think it's kind of each position kind of its own entity. Lenoris has got to be Lenoris and continue to get better, but we also knowing that the center does so much in our offense as well, bringing that guy along, whatever that may be. Bless you. So those guys are working. We're fortunate that the guys that are working at center, they're guys that have been around college football for a little bit. It's not like they're freshmen out of high school for sure. So a little bit of both, but that's what spring's for, and getting guys out of their comfort zone and continuing to grow, and that's what we're doing right now.
Shane, I know the competition's always going on, but with Lenoris being your quarterback, it probably stands to reason he's going to be your guy.
That would be one where we have a first team right now.
Right.
All right. But he knows he needs to continue to compete.
Sure. Is there, I guess, are you saying, or do you want to be adamant about having a definite number 2 by the end of spring or going into fall? Is there a date that you want to have that spot solidified?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything, David, coming out of spring practice where you say we have to say this is the backup or the number 2 guy, because to me that's a competition that is ongoing. It really is. Dante has done some nice things. Air did some nice things on Saturday. Cutter Woods, right before I came in here, led his offense that he was out there on the field with down the field during a 2-minute drill and made some nice throws to kick a field goal in the last play of practice to win it, if you will. So all those guys are doing some good things. I haven't talked to Mike about it, Coach Shula, but in my mind, it's one of those, coming out of the spring, that competition's ongoing, and let's get through this, compete through the summer, early in the training camp. But certainly when you start talking about, dividing up reps as you start getting ready for the first game, that really would need to be about a week and a half out. 10 days to 2 weeks out would be the thing in my mind. But if we know this guy's going to be the backup, then, go ahead and make that decision when we're ready to.
Lenore said last week that the new receivers that's come in had sorry.
You good.
Took a little bit to get used to with the new guys coming in. Have you seen a little bit of a increase of chemistry with Lenoris and the new guys?
Yeah, I think so. It takes time, and Lenoris and I just said that to him today before practice when he was stretching, that, look, we got a lot of young people around you, young receivers, and young offensive lineman. Shed Surratt's a true freshman that's getting a lot of work right now and doing a great job. So he's got young people around him, along with new faces around him, new center, new, Jordan Dingle's a new tight end. There's just a lot of new around him, without a doubt. And, continuing to just work every day to develop that chemistry. It's not going to be perfect coming out of spring, but we're farther along coming out of spring. And then we go through the summer and that chemistry develops even more. And then you go into preseason camp and it develops even more. But it takes time. You think about it, receivers that have played for us the last couple of years. I mean, Nicholas Harbert, he didn't show up until June of before his freshman year. He wasn't here for spring practice, and then it takes some time. I think the A&M game of Nick's first year was when he really, I think he caught about 6 balls that day and whatnot. Last year of Andrevius Jacobs and Dale Von Campbell, they didn't show up until June. So the fact that those freshmen are here right now, they're going through some growing pains, but they're going to be so much better for it right now, or they're going to be so much better for it because they've gone through this, without a doubt. So, yeah, I think so. But it certainly, takes time, without a doubt, how guys run routes and then just the connection that those guys have. But seen a lot of good and just got to continue to hone in on the details. I'm sorry, Jack.
You're good. Shane, what have you liked seeing so far from the tight end room? I know Mike Smith hasn't been out there, but what have you liked seeing from those guys and trying to fill the void, I guess, that Josh Simon is leaving?
Yeah, probably just their work ethic and intent, the physicality they're trying to play with. They've all flashed, without a doubt, but there's a toughness in that room, which you would expect with who their position coach is. And they're working. I mean, to have Brady back for another year is great. And, Mo Brown is a guy that has played a lot of special teams for us, but has explosive ability as a tight end as well, and he's working at it. And then Jordan Dingle's come in and has done some good things. So that's the biggest thing, is that's a scrappy group, and they continue to work. Mike will be back in the summer. Mike Tyler will be coming in, and then Lucas Vose and Reno are in there. That group that's joined that's part of that group all in there as well. So they're tough and they're working and have a good intent about themselves.
I don't know how much of the house stuff had your attention yesterday, or if you're just kind of trying to ignore it as best you can until something is resolved. So what's sort of your latest take on?
I was watching more live from the Masters on the Golf Channel yesterday than I was keeping up with the settlement stuff while I was doing my work. I wasn't completely tuned into the live from the Masters on the Golf Channel, but I had it on the television in my office. I didn't really. I kind of know a general idea of what took place yesterday. Coach Tanner came out to practice today. It was great to see him come out today and hang out a little bit as a spectator. And he was kind of catching me up on some things that he had read and heard and whatnot. But general idea of Hale, I know other people in our athletic department and in our program were meeting yesterday and talking about it and getting updates and things like that. But for us, it's, we have a plan. There's kind of a plan A if this happens and it happens at this time, plan B if this happens and it happens at this time, and then plan C if none of it goes as we expect. And we're ready for all of it and just kind of taking it day by day.
With the spring portal opening up next week, how aggressive are you guys? What's the plan this time around? Obviously, the winter portal's more active, more guys leaving, more coming in. How do you guys approach the spring window?
Yeah, as always, if there's an opportunity to increase the competition and make our team better, it's my responsibility as the head coach to do that. And there's certainly some positions where you guys can look at us and know the depth and the numbers are a little bit lower than maybe what you would like. And if there's an opportunity to increase the depth and numbers in a room, we certainly want to do that without a doubt. So is there a specific plan? No, we're looking at every position, how we can be better as a football team. And if that opportunity presents itself, then we'll certainly do that for sure. But it's also, it's challenging also, to go back to Hale's question. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns out there as well. last year we could have 120 players on our team. This year, if everything goes the way we think it's going to go, we're going to be down to 105. So you got to start talking about, your roster cap, and you just can't be bringing in people. There's always the 85 scholarship number. That hasn't changed. So you've got to balance all that along with potentially bringing somebody into the program that can make us better. But they got to fit what we're about on and off the field and truly make us better for us to, want to pursue someone in the portal.
Shane, you mentioned Brady Hunt. Do you think he could be, last year was more of the blocker kind of guy while Josh did the catching. Can Brady be that Josh Simon prototype? Do you want him to be or expect him to be? And how does Mike feel about, using that 2 tight end set and what Josh was able to do?
Yeah, I think he certainly can. Brady's a good athlete, guy that played quarterback and before he was a tight end, so he's smart. He knows everything. He's tough. He's got a great work ethic. He's a great young man, and he's more athletic than probably people give him credit for, himself included. But, yeah, we want all those guys to kind of be interchangeable and not just say this guy's the blocking tight end and then this guy's not. We'd love for them all to be able to, be interchangeable, but very much maybe play specific, that if there's something that Jordan Dingle does a little bit better, let's get him in on that play and whatnot as well. But Brady did some really good things for us last year, and unfortunate that he wasn't able to finish the season because of the injury, offensively and special teams-wise, that affected us. But to be able to have him back and just have another older guy on that offense, I think there's great potential for him in a lot of ways for us.
Shane, having gone through this before with the spring transfer portal and going back to Luke's question, do you have more candid conversations with players as you lead up to that point? And the reason I ask is, obviously Wendell Gregory a couple days ago, he decides to leave, but you're also trying to be ready to go after these guys quickly, knowing that things can happen quick, and also trying to build that depth.
Yeah, I think I know I'll be like I always have. I've tried to always be transparent with our players after spring practice about where they stand. And this year will be no different, letting guys know, where they stand. And there's every player on our team I would love to have back. But there's some guys that may look and say right now, coming out of spring, there's a lot of guys above me on the depth chart, and it's a uphill battle, and they want a fresh start somewhere else where they can play. That's great. That's happened in the past, and I'll help guys go wherever, from that standpoint. But I wouldn't say it changes my conversations with them in any way. It's continuing to just be transparent and honest with guys, and there should be no gray area about where they stand and why they're in that role right now either.
I guess it's safe to assume still no resolution on Faison and where his standing is for
nothing official. Got an update last week that was positive, but as far as like official word, no.
You mentioned wanting to put some of the special teams guys in those battles and some pressure situations in the scrimmage. Yeah. And what did you see from those guys in the scrimmage?
Yeah, I thought that was one of the positive things from Saturday was the way that we punted and kicked the ball. We really punted the ball well. Mason Love, William Joyce, those guys did a nice job, and then kicking field goals, Mason and Peyton Argent and Joyce, all three of those guys, I thought did some really good things. We tried to create even more, kicking situations and maybe in previous scrimmages just to get those guys work from a field goal standpoint, not just kicking, but snapping and holding, because all that's going to be new for us next year. Not new for us, but it'll be someone new doing it. And the more we can do it in the stadium when it's live and in front of, or you're in Williams-Brice and next Friday night in front of a lot of people, we can't get enough of those. But I was pleased with them. I thought we did some good things on special teams. A guy, it's all about, culture of your team is displayed with special teams. And DQ Smith blocked a field goal. And here's a guy that's about to be a 4-year starter, and he's coming hard off the edge to lay his body out to block a field goal as well. So that was good to see. I didn't like getting it blocked, but it was good to see the effort to block it. And then the way that we kicked, I was, very pleased. So a lot of position battles going on there, and I know everybody looks at offense and defense, but there's a lot of battles. Who's going to be the starting right guard on the punt team, and who's going to be on the front line of kickoff return, and who's going to be on our kickoff coverage team running downfield. And there's some really cool competition going on out there in practice and scrimmages, and that includes the specialist group as well. Nothing, Lulu? Are you still in basketball mode?
Unfortunately, I don't want to waste your time.
Not wasting my time. Phil? No? I didn't yell. I've seen a lot of coaches in press conferences yell. I was not yelling. I was just making a point. Surely you're not intimidated, Phil. Okay. Good. All right. See y'all soon.